And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me to your powwow. It's a real privilege to be here.
It's an honor. It's an honor, Senator, to have you and a representative of the Native Americans as well. It's just it's a great honor.
So, Senator, I mean, I hate to jump right in, but
excuse me, I'm sorry if you don't mind. I haven't had any time for dinner yet.
Is that powwow chow?
Powwow chow.
It's
an old family recipe. I will say one thing that gives me pause about my decision not to run is, of course, the old Native American idiom, the old Native American proverb, big orange man will crush cackling cadaver. I should have seen it coming.
In case you couldn't tell, that's Michael Knowles, talk show host over at the Daily Wire. That's from back in 2016 when, oddly, he's wearing a wig and a dress on camera and having fun. Maybe some people may even call it performing. Odd how that works, because this is the same Michael Knowles who just recently has been going on anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ and anti-drag rants consistently, because that's where the money lies. But now, as we saw from that video back in 2016, apparently he dove into the same thing that many of the rest of these hypocrites did as well. Here's more though. He didn't just appear on that show. He also posted pictures on Instagram like this, still in that same outfit, because he was being Senator Elizabeth Warren. I think you guys see the joke because of President Trump's racist names for Warren then. So he's Pocahontas, apparently. There was another one though as well. He's still dressing up at the computer, still being a funny guy. On that one, he posted Senator Elizabeth Warren about to go on the Daily Wire live broadcast as the Democratic election analyst. Apparently that's what he was doing throughout that whole back and forth. So those videos and pictures are still up, completely, I guess, fine, which I think they're fine. You can do whatever you want outside of the fact that we always realize, the racism that you're perpetuating there. But we're talking about the hypocrisy here, because again, he's dressed up in a dress, acting like he's a woman. And apparently, last I heard, that's groomer behavior. That's the type of stuff that evil, demonic libs do. Those LGBTQ plus folks that are coming for your kids. Apparently, Michael Knowles is one of them. These photos also resurfaced after he said this at CPAC last week, in case you guys forgot.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it. Transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely.
That I called to ban transgenderism entirely. I made the point that if you want women to have their own bathrooms, if you think women ought to be able to have their own locker rooms and not have to look at gigantic, gross men while little girls are getting changed, if you want any of those things, you have to ban transgenderism entirely. It's not enough to say, well, you have to wait until you're 12 or whatever people are saying now.
I guess one of those hairy, disgusting, huge men was changing into dresses. At least he wasn't doing it in a women's locker room before he put that particular dress on. He's had a history of this. He's also thinks he's tweeted out about Christian nationalism. Which one of these is better? Marriage still means what it has always meant everywhere on earth. That's the Christian nationalism message, according to Knowles. And also the leftist globalism messages. Drag shows for 2-year-olds and puberty blockers for preteens are a human right. And he asks, which political order do you prefer? Well, pause there for a second, because as he's openly advocating, I guess, for a normal political approach being about Christian nationalism, openly saying this because apparently Christianity is supposed to be pushed onto the rest of us through legislation, through political action and things like that. It sounds like the same thing that they say all of these gay folks are doing, pushing their agenda on us, pushing their lives on us. What about folks who aren't Christians? Are you shoving your agenda on them? Yeah, he says that's the way that he likes to go. Outside of that, he's also tweeted this. How can you not see that half-naked drag queens twerking for children are a blessing of liberty? As he was co-signing with some more bigoted things that Matt Walsh was saying there. This is who Michael Knowles says he is on the outside, but when he puts on a dress and a wig to perform, apparently it's not hypocritical. It's a really weird thing. There's more to this though, you guys, but first I wanna hear what you have to say on this, Jackson.
So stories like this really just put into perspective how trendy everything that people do in society is. Especially with different types of outrage, is basically the right wing has been progressively picking on the transgender community. Not that that's new, but louder and louder in the media throughout the last several years. Again, everything that we do is trendy. The style of clothes that we wear, the music that we listen to, even like body types that are in style, even like what's considered masculine or feminine. All of these things go through different types of phases. But really, the worst thing about it is obviously these types of trends lead into policies that we're seeing all across the country. But just in general, and the last thing that I was going to get at, I remember that one of the first points that I was making was that, you look at like things like Mrs. Doubtfire or just like sitcoms from like the 90s or the 80s, where dressing in drag was just kind of normal and people did it as part of like comedy routines and nobody was talking about it. So that was the original point that I was thinking of, just in terms of how trendy different type of outrage can be. But it's just been louder and louder over the last several years. And now it's pretty much all the right wing can focus on, at least in the media, especially.
It's what they think is the calling card that's going to get them, more power, more positions, and win more elections. And they figure these groups of people that they fooled into following them just wouldn't care about seeing these obviously discoverable facts all along the internet. But as you guys know, Michael Knowles is not the only one that has been exposed in the past couple of weeks for this hypocrisy. There's also that old photo of Bill Lee from Tennessee, the governor there, as he was wearing drag up in high school, because we've seen it, powder puff football games. But again, performing, these type of things that these folks are all about. How about this representative from Texas? Remember this? We ran this just last week. The excuse is always, we were joking. We were just performing. I put on that dress because I was having fun. So if a drag performer says, I was performing, I was having fun. I just put on that dress because I was shooting something to produce and make. Suddenly it's different. It's different because the hypocrisy is real.
Because right now it's just the trendy thing to publicly, talk about, obviously, because they don't have any policy plans. Not that the Democrats are leagues better. But again, this is just generally what's the trendy thing now, because, again, just like that, I was just joking around, like, sure, and nobody cared. But now it's a thing. So now you have to explain yourself and defend why you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
It's what they think will continue to work. So we're going to keep exposing it until people finally realize who it is that they're following.